okay, let me just say right off the top, whoever is voting yes, that I need to be going ahead and stunting and stripping for donos, you all are just wrong. Okay, let me stop. I had to stop the music right there. I had to. That's ridiculous. But we'll go ahead and start the show. So good evening, early evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you're overseas, I know it's after midnight and something evil is probably lurking in the dark. And if it's not, you need to go outside and find it. So, but shout out to everybody that's here now and will listen later. I promise you, I was not going to podcast today, like at all. I've been kind of on a vacation and there's not a whole lot going on, but I did want to catch everybody up on what is going on with the ABK Activision deal. Because I've always said when there was a development, I would go ahead and report on it. So I'm following through with that. Also, the Square Enix shakeup is starting to look more and more like they're about to be purchased. And we'll go into that a little bit. Then this juicy nugget that just came out of the blue. It's now being reported that Sony is going to possibly try to buy Take-Two Entertainment. And I don't know where to start with these stories. So the easiest one to start with, to me, is the ABK deal. So if you don't understand what has happened, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission in the United States of America, has sued Microsoft to prevent them from getting their hands on Activision Blizzard. And they say they stand on solid ground. Okay, fine. I'm not arguing with whoever. I'm just giving you the update, not my opinion. And you also overseas have the European Commission looking in on this. So let's start. So you have two different things going on. The European Commission blocked the ABK Microsoft deal. However, by law, by international law, they have to allow Microsoft to remedy the situation. And Microsoft, it has every right to try to remedy the situation. I'm really wanting you all to understand that. Them trying to go back in and remedy the situation is exactly the way this process is set up. Now, whether the European Commission accepts it or not, that is beyond us, right? That's beyond me sitting here in this green chair because my cyberpunk chair broke. So it was very cyberpunkish and it broke on me. So, but you all, I'm just wanting you all to understand that Microsoft has every right to defend itself. And you have to understand that these are two different entities. So you have the CMA, the EU, and then you have the FTC. So the EU is the one that you've been seeing on Twitter saying that they're not going to have them divest. So Microsoft has to come in there with some remedies for whatever is going on. And I'm saying whatever is going on, they need to remedy that situation. Okay, now flip the page because that's totally separate. Flip the page. Microsoft's subpoena of Sony documentation. Microsoft is doing this because they are being sued by the Federal Trade Commission, better known by its gangster name, the FTC. And again, Microsoft is being sued by the United States of America. It's going to say in court, if it gets there, the United States of America versus Microsoft. That's what it's going to say. And then it'll have it's the reason why they're being sued. So that's out. Let's get that out of the way. Now, understand this very carefully. Microsoft has every right to defend itself in a court of law. And they believe that if they show documentation where Sony is doing different things, they want to say this is unfair. Therefore, we need this deal to go through. And that's where things stand right now. Now, within the documentation, it's been reported that Microsoft wanted to go all the way back to 2012. I mean, my God. I mean, Obama was still in office in 2012, right? Trump was about to come in the office. But the judge granted Microsoft the subpoena. But Sony went back in and they squashed most of this subpoena as far as the information Microsoft is going to get. Microsoft wanted to go to 2012. Sony said 2019. The judge came back and decided that 2019 to like 2024, which is right around the corner based on the fiscal year, was fine. And Sony said that was fine. I mean, who doesn't know what they're... Every game, if you want to know what games they're talking about, they've already announced like the Ronin game, but all the games, the newest game I think that has popped up is the Gray Hill Incident. I think that's what it's called. And I think that is being marketed by Sony, the way it's been put out there. So how is this going to go? It depends on who you listen to. I listened to Fox Business News. They talked about this yesterday. Fox Business, the attorneys, the merger and acquisition attorneys, both split. They said that they think the EU will accept the 10 years as a remedy, but the FTC wouldn't. And all it takes is one of them. All it takes is one of them blocking it. But if one of these regulatory bodies says yes, more than likely the other ones will say yes too. That's just kind of the way that goes. That doesn't mean it will, but I have said this multiple times on this podcast that, and also with the FTC, like I said, Sony got them to just go for 4.5 years, and most of the games you've seen, any game that was shown at Sony's showcase in 2020. That it doesn't matter. Either Sony, Bug Snacks to the Housemarque game again. Sony owns Housemarque now. Blue Point, the game that Blue Point made, now Sony owns them. Pretty much any game that was shown third party at that thing, Sony either has a marketing deal. Even Pragmatica through Capcom, Sony has marketing rights to that. Right now, that can always be relinquished. That can always be relinquished. So just so you know. So that's what's happened is people are talking about two different things. One that has nothing to do with the other. As long as you understand that, you're fine. I mean, and now, what do I think is going to happen? I've said 1,000 times, I think the deal is going to go through, but it's going to go through with remedies. And that's where we're at right now. We're at the stage where Microsoft tried to make a purchase. The community said, no, we don't want this. We're not the way this is structured. And now, but by law, they have to have a session where they remedy, and they have to give Microsoft a legal chance to do that. That's where you are right now. That's where you're at with the CMA. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Hopefully that does make sense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Briaros has unfortunately activated the Booty Buster, but shout out for him to the subscription. Make sure you sign up and you get all your things. Again, with the subscription service, we'll be talking about movies and other things in that. You're always going to be, you'll be invited to the Discord when I'm talking about those things to add your 2 cents. But again, let me make this clear. Unfortunately, you have activated the Booty Buster, and he very well may try to climb up into your bed and clap your cheeks. So that's random. Some people get the little walking zombie, but unfortunately, my friend, you have drawn the Booty Buster. So shout out to you, though. Just be careful tonight. Make sure you cover your ass because the Booty Buster, he's a warrior. Let's just leave it there. But so where was I? All right. So as long as you all understand that and you don't get caught up in the minutia and bull crap, I've said that I think the deal is going through with remedies. If you want to play Call of Duty and call in the B2 and get one-man army and play online with your friends, then you need to be prepared to play it on PC or on Xbox. That is totally up to you as consumers. I've talked to several people that said they're just going to leave it alone and walk away. Fair enough. I think that's fine. Okay. I do know that the B2 is coming out with a sequel. And it'll be here, I want to say sometime this year. There's another Call of Duty that's going to be a sequel to Modern Warfare 2. And you have to remember, Sony still has games coming till next year with Call of Duty. So I think this Modern Warfare could be the last, and then I think you'll get another Cold War game, and that'll be it. That'll be the end of it. Okay, so you all need to be prepared for that and brace yourselves. I mean, for the ones who are going to be affected by it. It's up to you. This is why I talk about gaming. I don't care what you game on what you want. All right, game on what you want. But this deal more than likely is going to go through. What did Sony accomplish? Sony was able to push the deal. Make sure you get the likes up, people. Sony was able to get the deal pushed a whole year while they made their own preparations. My idea was for them to go to EA and purchase the intellectual property called Medal of Honor. That is just my little bitty idea, my little corner of the world. It is totally up to Sony to accept this deal or not. And if they accept the deal, Call of Duty will be on the B2 will be here for 10 years. If they don't accept the deal, another 2 years, maybe they get another 3 years out of it, then it's done. It'll be done. And you will not be getting it again. Jim Ryan will release a statement saying that we can't come into an agreement, blah, 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 blah. There's other games there too that are, to me, I think isn't Overwatch there. You have Overwatch, you have Doom, they got a lot of IP, and their goal is to push it into their subscription service. So are they being hypocrites talking about they don't care about exclusive content? Now they care about it. Yes, you're 100% correct. If you say yes, ding, 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 but it's what they're doing, okay? But that is your update. You have two different things happening at once. And so it looks like there's a ton of information. They're two separate things. So you have one going on in Europe, you have another thing going on in the United States. Their trial doesn't start in the United States till like late July, August. But they do have a right to defend themselves. And again, as far as the third-party deals, Microsoft did it with Falconeer. They did it with the Blubber team. They did the Medium Rare game. They do it all the time. So, and Sony does it as well. But because Microsoft wants to just put things day and date in Game Pass, Sony is trying to prevent that. And Sony very well, and we're going to find out, is Sony leveraging, which I would in negotiation, is Sony leveraging its massive, 80%, 70% market to go ahead and get some of these deals done? If the answer is yes, it's legal to do that, but it ain't the coolest thing to do. So again, shout out to Briaros for going ahead and becoming a member, and I appreciate it, bro. And go ahead and enjoy it. Go ahead and enjoy it. So just make sure you got to watch your ass. So, if you think I should get a 490, that we're having a Dono war, there it is. It's for the PSVR though. So, like I said, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Is somebody gonna man up? So, and also, Briaros is now a managing mod. So, because all the people who are members are automatically managing mods. So that Alfonso Carter and Briaros are now our managing mods. So could be one too. So just hit that button, people. Hit that like button. So, but let's move on. But that's what's going on with the ABK deal. If there were any questions about it. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. And again, the CMA could always say, we don't like these remedies. I don't know what Microsoft is offering, but rest assured, whatever they offer, when it comes public, we will talk about it here. So now let's move on to Square Enix, because Square Enix, if you don't know, Square Enix is shaking things up. We're shaking up, baby, now twisting. They're twisting and shouting over there. As if you don't know, they have, let me go ahead and let's see here. So we'll put this up on the screen. And this comes from our good friends at Jimitsu. And let me see here if I can get my fingers to work correctly. Or screen capture. We're going to add the source. Okay. So you can see the president, Yosuke Matsuda. I apologize if I butchered the name. To be replaced by Takashi 59. I'm just kidding. Takashi Karui. So, what has happened here is that it's got to be approved by the board by the summertime, and it will be. Okay, you all don't have to worry about that. But this is as of today. Shout out to Sal Romano, not to be confused with Ray Romano. But it says here the change is to be officially finalized pending approval of the 34th annual shareholders meeting in June and the meeting of the board of directors to be held afterwards, which they're going to approve it. Okay. They're going to approve it. But basically, one of these guys wanted to do something called NFTs and the other guy didn't, and the other guy got the job. So, but here are some things that I didn't know. So it says he also appeared as a boss fight in Nier Automata. And this is Automata. I've heard people call it Automata. It's Automatu. And Automatu, like that, if you were over there. So, alongside Platinum Games president Kenichi Sato. So, again, shout out. He's young. Good grief. Yeah, he's 48 years old. Like I said, that's a nice tie he got there. I don't like his haircut, though. Too corporate. So, there's his resume. And a lot of people think, and Roberto Sorano, if you all follow him, and I know you listen to people who always reference him, but according to Roberto Sorano, that once all this stuff, goes away with the ABK deal, once all that kind of, dies down, Sony will announce a merger / purchase of Square Enix and put those games will only be on PlayStation. And I mean, if you look at some of the tea leaves, it makes some sense. I mean, I've always thought they've already bought them. You have the fact, and we've mentioned this before, Square Enix is pulling their games off of Xbox. It's not Sony that's doing it. It is Square Enix that's doing it. So, but I don't know. Square Enix did not make Nier Automata. That was Platinum, right? So, so you have you would get with Square Enix, you would get all the Final Fantasy games, you would get Kingdom Hearts, which I think would stay that would stay multi-plat. Yeah, you would definitely get the FF games, you would get the Luminous Productions people who made Forspoken. That game's already a 2-year holdover. So, it is what it is, people. And but that's just my humble opinion. And now Roberto Sorano, he's claiming something similar, if not the same. And but the main thing is, what do you all think? I mean, I've stood strong, and I've said, based on my understanding, that Square Enix has been purchased by Sony. Now, other people think it's just a capital investment, and that's fine. Okay? That's fine. And I think that's great, too. So, now, to me, and we'll